Hi everyone, I'm Kate. Welcome to class. Today's class on Verbling is for intermediate learners, and we'll be practicing conditional sentences, but not by reviewing the grammar so much as by speaking. So we'll really see exactly when and how we use these conditional sentences. And for those of you who are new to Verbling, Verbling is a language learning platform with classes available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. So we'll get started.
Hi.
Hi, Ali and Matt.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks. I heard some disturb audio microphone.
From my microphone?
Uh,
Okay.
Talking? Try talking?
Yes. Can you hear me?
It's okay.
It's
Yes,
okay?
yes, okay. Now it's okay.
All
Before
right.
I don't know.
Oh,
Just
okay. How strange. Okay, well, now it seems to be okay, right?
okay. Now it's
Okay,
okay.
good. And we have Peter. Hi, Peter.
Hello, how are you?
Doing very well. How about you?
Doing very well too, thank you.
Good. Peter, is that your child in the picture?
Yes, she is my daughter. Her
She's
name is Abigail.
very, very cute. That's such a cute picture.
Thank you.
Okay. And we have Ate. Hi.
Yes, hello, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Do you hear me well?
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, good. And Anna, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very happy because this is my first class in Verbling.
Your first class in Verbling. Okay, great. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So I think we're still waiting for a few students to arrive. But I think we're still waiting for a few students to arrive. But while we wait, I'll explain sort of what we'll be doing in class today. So a lot of you have probably learned conditional. I'm sorry, I hear a lot of background noise. Roxana?
Yes, hello.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Roxana, I hear a lot of background noise from your microphone.
Now it's better.
A little bit better, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Okay. Still coming from. I'm going to mute you for a second. Sorry. Okay. Oh, maybe it's not Roxana. Who is this? Okay. Sorry, I just muted everyone. But obviously, feel free to unmute yourselves when you want to speak. Okay. I wasn't sure where the noise was coming from. Okay, and we have one more student, Wala.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Qatar.
Ah, from Qatar. Very cool. Very interesting. Okay, well, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll explain essentially what we'll be doing today. So a lot of you, I'm sure, have studied the conditional sentences, and oh, that's a very nice message, Peter. Okay, a lot of you have studied the conditional sentences, right? You've reviewed the grammar. You've sort of learned exactly like what parts compose these sentences. But today what I want to focus on, more than sort of how we form the sentences, is how we use them. So essentially we'll really be practicing different scenarios and trying to decide when we use the first conditional, when we use the second conditional, and when we use the third conditional. Okay, really trying to see when are the appropriate situations to actually use these different conditional sentences. Okay. Let's see. And so does anyone have questions before we get started? I guess my question is, would you like to do a quick review of how we form the conditional sentences?
Yes, because it's my first class about conditional.
Okay, so yeah, it's your first class about conditionals, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, no problem. So, for those of you who already know this, you can help me to give some examples. Okay, so what is a conditional sentence?
Well, I think that the first conditional describes real situations.
Absolutely, yeah. So the first conditional is used to describe real situations. But before we even get into that, what does it mean to have a conditional sentence?
I think there is two sentences, and one of if sentence and the other is main.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's not two sentences, it's two clauses, two parts of the sentence, right?
Yeah. And
Excellent.
the second one depends on first one, maybe, if clause.
Very good. Okay, so great. So essentially, we have two clauses in these sentences. We have an if clause and a main clause. And as Ellie said perfectly, the main clause depends on the if clause, right? We're saying if this thing happens, then another thing will happen, right? So we're showing cause and effect or conditions. Okay, and then as Anna said, the first conditional is used to express real situations, right? So here's an example. If it rains tomorrow, we will, if it rains tomorrow, we will see a movie. If it rains tomorrow, we will see a movie. Okay, so as Anna said, this type of conditional is used to express very real situations or possible, even probable situations, right? I think it might rain tomorrow, and I'm giving a concrete example of what we will do if it does rain. Okay, and so what tenses am I using in the first conditional?
Present simple.
So in the if clause, I'm using present simple, and in the main clause?
The present future. The future simple, sorry.
Good. Right, so in the if clause, I'm using present simple, and in the main clause, I'm using the future, right? So will plus the infinitive. Will see. Okay. Just a quick note. It doesn't matter what order you put these clauses in, right? So if you can easily say, we will see a movie if it rains tomorrow. And that's absolutely fine. Okay, so if it rains tomorrow, we will see a movie. There I have the if clause first. However, you can absolutely switch the order and say, we will see a movie if it rains tomorrow. Okay, any questions?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Sorry, for those of you for whom this is review, sorry about that. But it's always good practice. Okay. So now I'll show you how we can transform, or actually I'll ask a question. How can we transform this sentence into the second conditional? So the sentence, if it rains tomorrow, we will see a movie. How can we transform this first conditional sentence into a second conditional? Any ideas?
Maybe we would see a movie.
So yeah, the main clause would change to we would see a movie, and the if clause
If it was rain,
almost.
rain.
So in the if clause, here we're using past simple for the second conditional. So we would say, if it rained tomorrow, we would see a movie.
Mm.
And I know it seems weird to have past simple right before tomorrow, but here it's not talking about the past. It's still talking about the hypothetical future. Okay, and so what's the difference between these two sentences? What's the difference in meaning?
I think second conditional is we use it that is in impossible situations, right?
Yeah, so not necessarily impossible, but extremely, extremely unlikely. So, so imagine, for the second conditional, imagine the person saying this lives in the Sahara Desert, right? They live in the Sahara Desert, okay? And they're saying, if it rained tomorrow, we would see a movie. Okay, but they live in a place where it virtually never, ever rains. So they think it's very unlikely or nearly impossible. Okay, any questions? All right, so can someone give me another example of a second conditional sentence?
For example, if I were there, I would help you.
Yeah, if I were there, I would help you. Good, right? So if I were there, I would help you. But I am not there, and I cannot suddenly transport myself to another place, right? So it's unlikely. Okay, and there are a lot of ones we talk about frequently with hypothetical situations. We say things like, if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world, right? Or, if I found $1 billion on the street, I would da da da. And there, again, we're using the second conditional because these are very unlikely or nearly impossible situations. Okay, any questions?
For example, if I were you, I would stay at home. It's second conditional.
Yes, exactly. If I were you, I would stay at home. Okay, this is a very good example of a second conditional. So here, why can't we use first conditional?
The first conditional.
No, it's a second conditional. But my question is, why would it not make sense to use first conditional?
Because it is more likely that we don't win the lottery than we win it. It is more.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then,
Sorry.
but talking about this sentence that Roxana just said, if I were you, I would stay at home.
Because I can't be you.
Exactly, Ellie. Good. Yeah, you can't be me, right? You can't just be another person. So it would not make sense in this case to say, if I am you, I will stay at home, right? That's totally nonsensical. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. Paulo, okay, so this is actually, you've combined two conditionals in the sentence. So in the second conditional, the pure second conditional, good example would be, if I studied more, I would have a better salary. So almost perfect. Good example. Okay, so we're almost finished with this review. We're missing the third conditional. Okay, so the third conditional is different. in the first and second conditionals, we had been talking about the future, the present or future, right? The difference was that in the first conditional, we're talking about a real or possible future, and in the second conditional, we're talking about a very unlikely or impossible future. Okay? The biggest difference between the second and third conditional is that in the third conditional, we're talking about the past. We're not talking about the present or future anymore. We are talking about the past. So, I have to change my sentence a little bit to transform it into the third conditional. So, if it had, hold on. Sorry, give me 1 second, I'm typing. Okay, so, third conditional. If it had rained yesterday, right, I can't use tomorrow anymore because third conditional is talking about the past. If it had rained yesterday, we would have seen a movie. Okay? So, third conditional sentence, what are we talking about? What exactly is the situation here?
Something that didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
In the reality, because I think that tomorrow it was a sunny day. I think
Yesterday.
yesterday. Yes.
Yeah,
You
yesterday.
you didn't see movie because of it hadn't rained.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay, so hello and Ellie, perfect, right? So in reality, it did not rain yesterday, and we did not see a movie. So we are imagining a situation that is contrary to the reality of the past. This is a completely unreal situation. Okay, any questions? No?
No, it's clear.
Okay, good. So that was my quick review. It only took 15 minutes, so I apologize for taking up too much of your speaking time. But I hope that was clear so we can practice using these. Okay, so I'm going to start. This will essentially just be sort of a free discussion class. Okay, and I'm going to ask some questions. For the first part of class, I will ask some questions, and I just want you to answer them using the appropriate conditional tense. Okay? So, all right, my first question, so really anyone can answer this. My first question is, if you if you won the lottery, what would you do?
Maybe if I won the lottery, I would travel a lot.
Good, I would travel a lot. Perfect. Anna. Okay, so Anna, why don't you ask one of your classmates the same question?
What would you do if you won the lottery? It is what I had to say.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can choose one of your classmates to ask. So who would you like to ask?
Okay. It's okay. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Yes. That's perfect. Okay, yeah. So why don't let's ask Peter. So why don't you ask Peter?
I'm sorry, I don't catch what you say because I don't understand.
Ah, okay, no problem. So, and I asked Anna to ask you the same question that I had asked her, which is, if you won the lottery, what would you do?
Oh, I see. Sorry. If I won the lottery, I would buy beer everything.
You would?
I
Why?
would buy beer everything. Everyone. Everyone.
Okay, so you would buy beer for everyone. Okay,
Yes.
very generous. Okay, so here, what conditional are we using?
This is my turn.
Just in general, I'm asking what type of conditional sentence is this?
Second.
Second, right? Okay, so
Oh.
second. Yeah, okay, so good. I wanted to show that as an example. Okay, so great work finishing these sentences. So what I want to do now is it's an activity called a conditional chain. A conditional chain. And so essentially, you will have to link your sentence. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I will say a conditional sentence, right? And one student will have to use the main clause of my conditional sentence and turn that into the if clause of his or her conditional sentence. And then the next student will take the main clause of that conditional sentence and and turn it into the if clause of their conditional sentence. Questions? Okay, we'll try it. I think it will become clear as we do it. Okay, and so remember, you need to make sure when you form your conditional sentence that you are using the correct verb tenses. Okay, so I'll start with this one. So my sentence is, if I wake up early, I will be tired. If I wake up early, I will be tired. So Ali, can you make your own conditional sentence by transforming my main clause into your if clause?
Okay.
If I were tired, if I were tired, I wouldn't work properly.
Okay, so yes, but I want you to use the same type of conditional sentence here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so here, this is tricky. So I'll give you an example. If I wake up early, I will be tired. Now, I want to use the first conditional, right? I want to continue with the first conditional. So I'll say,
Okay.
Ali, do you know?
Yes.
Okay, let's try it.
If I am tired, I will be sleep.
I will go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do you see that? So he's still using the first conditional. And he had to take the verb that was in the future and transform it to the present simple, right? If I am tired, I will go to sleep.
If I go to sleep, I won't be able to study.
Okay, good. Excellent, Anna. Very good. If I go to sleep, I won't be able to study. Okay, let's see. Ate, can you do the next conditional sentence?
Okay, if I am not able to study, I won't pass my exam.
Excellent.
But so sorry, teacher. I think that we didn't say in the beginning. We didn't say that we have to use the same conditional one.
You're right.
So,
That's my fault. That's
no,
my
no,
fault.
no, no. I just wanted. It is not about your fault, but I just wanted to say to my roommates to we have to use the same type of conditional. That's it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes. So ideally, I want you to use the same type of conditional. Okay. So far we've been using the first conditional, and so we want to keep it in the first conditional. Okay. Good point. Okay. So great sentence, Ate. If I am not able to study, I won't pass my exam. Okay. So Matt, can you make the next conditional sentence?
Okay. If I not to studied, I will pass my exam.
Okay, so all right, so what you want to do, Matt, is you want to take the main clause from the previous sentence and create a new sentence. Okay, so you're using I won't pass my exams. You want to transform this into the if clause of your sentence.
Oh, okay. In this case, if I will.
If I don't pass.
If I don't pass my exams. I'm confused.
Okay, no problem. So we're basically making a chain of conditional sentence. So we're saying if this thing happens, then this will be the result. And then if that result happens, this will be the next result. Right? So an example, if I don't go to college, I won't get a job. If I don't get a job, I won't make money. If I don't make money, I won't be able to support my family. If I can't support my family, my kids will not be happy. If my kids are not happy, I will not be happy, right? So we're just saying a chain of cause and effect using the first conditional. And to do that, we have to change the main clause of the previous sentence into the if clause of the next sentence. Okay? I know it's a little bit confusing, as Ate just said. Okay, so Matt, an example with yours. If I don't pass my exams, what will happen if you don't pass your exams?
And I not receive a diploma.
Good. If I don't pass my exams, I won't receive a diploma. Right? If I don't pass my exams, I won't receive a diploma. Perfect. Okay, Matt, is this getting more clear?
Yes, I need repeat more example, first, second, and third conditional.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here we're using only the first conditional, right? So if you remember, this is the present simple in the if clause and the future in the main clause, right? So look at these. These are all going to be examples of the first conditional. So try to see the patterns here.
After this lesson, I find the example for my exercising.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. So, Paulo, can you do the next conditional sentence in
Yes.
this thing? Okay, good.
If I don't receive a diploma, I won't have a good job.
Good, perfect. So, if I don't receive a diploma, I won't have a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, good, excellent. Peter.
I'm here. Okay. I don't have a good job. I won't pay a bill, for example.
Okay, yeah. So, if I don't have a good job, I won't pay the bills.
Yes, you're right.
Good. If I don't have a good job, I won't pay the bills. Excellent.
This is a first conditional.
This is a first conditional.
Okay.
Because we have, if you look, we have if, and then we have the present simple.
Okay, and future. Okay.
And then we have future in the main clause.
Okay.
Okay, good, Matt. All right. Roxana, can you make a conditional sentence?
If I don't pay the bills, I will have a problem with the government.
Good. If I don't...
For sure.
Hold on. Okay. If I don't pay the bills, I will have a problem with the government. Okay? Good. And voila. Now you have a very long main clause to transform into your if clause.
Okay. If I have a problem with the government, I would be in the jail.
Not would.
Okay.
If I have a problem with the government, I
will be in a jail.
Excellent.
Yes. It's present. Future, I mean.
Good.
Present and future.
Okay, excellent. If I have a problem with the government, I will be in jail. Okay, and so if you'll notice, in this conditional chain, we went from my sentence, which was, if I wake up early, I will be tired, to, if I have a problem with the government, I will be in jail. Okay? So we really sort of, the thing spiraled out of control.
Your sentence ended in the jail.
I ended in jail. Yeah, my sentence ended in jail. Okay, so I know this is tricky, but I want to try to do this with a different type of conditional sentence as well. So now that you have the idea of what we're doing. And I want to say thank you for being patient with that, because I know it can be a difficult activity to start, but you all did an excellent job. Okay, so
it's funny, I think.
Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, so now I'm going to use a different type of conditional sentence to start. Peter, what is the mama and papa game?
Sorry, it's a Hungarian joke. The prison has many gay guys, and you know.
Okay, yes. Okay, you know. That's good enough.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to use a different type of conditional this time. Okay, so hold on, let me think of my sentence. I'm typing. Okay, if I had $1 million, I would buy a new car.
Can I start?
Yes, you can start.
If I bought a new car, I would travel all over the world.
Perfect. If I bought a new car, I would travel all over the world. Excellent. So if you see here, so what type of conditional sentence is this?
Second.
The second one. Okay, second conditional. So, so Ate did a great job And let's just look at what he did. So in my sentence, in the if clause, I had a past tense verb, which was had, and would plus the infinitive, right? Would buy. Okay, so he had to change the verb in my main clause into the past tense. So I had the sentence, or he changed this to the sentence, if I bought, right? So he took would buy, and instead of using this would plus infinitive, he had to transform this into the past tense. So he said, if I bought a new car, and then he said exactly what he would do. Okay, so very good, Ate. Before we continue, are there any questions?
Could you write the form, please?
Sorry?
Could you write the form, please? For example, the if and subject and verb.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I
Thank you
forgot
so much.
to write the second conditional. So if plus subject plus past simple. Oops. Subject plus would plus infinitive. Infinitive without two. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here, for reference, you have the form. If plus the subject plus the past simple, comma, the subject, which can be the same or different, would plus the infinitive, but without two.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, perfect. So let's see, let's go this direction. Anna, can you create the next conditional sentence?
Yes, of course. If I traveled all over the world, I would know many people.
Good. Or I would meet many people.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. So if I traveled all over the world, I would meet many people. Excellent. And one note, traveled has two spellings. So you can spell it with L or with two L's. Both are correct. Okay, just so you know. All right. Ali, can you make the next conditional sentence?
Okay. If I met many people, I would know about their culture.
Okay. Or let's say I would know about different cultures.
Yeah.
Excellent. If I met many people, I would know about different cultures. Good. Let's see. Wala, can you do the next one?
Yes, sure. Um, if I knew about different cultures, I would be active socially.
Good. If I knew about different cultures, I would be socially active. Well, you could say active socially, but okay. So if I knew about different cultures, I would be socially active. Great. Okay. Roxana.
Yes, yes. If I was socially active, it would happen a lot of interesting things in my life.
Yeah. So if I were were socially active, a lot of interesting.
If I were or if I was.
I'll explain in 1 second. So, but let's say your main clause is a lot of interesting things would happen in my life. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, this is a really interesting thing about English grammar. in the second conditional, for the first person, so I, and the third person, so he, she, it, in theory, we should be using the past simple. So that would be was, right? I was, you were, he was. So for I and he, we should be using I was. If I was, if he was. However, we tend to use were. And traditionally, the sort of correct, the grammatically correct way to make these sentences was using were. So if I were socially active, or if he were socially active. Okay? And I think this comes from, for those of you who have subjunctive tenses in your language, this is, so the English language does not really have subjunctive tenses anymore, but we used to. So this is sort of a leftover thing from the subjunctive tense. Okay, if that means nothing to you, just ignore it. But for those of you who speak Romance languages, that might be helpful. Okay, so, but a lot of people, a lot of native speakers tend to say, if I was. And so slowly they have adapted the rules. So now it's grammatically correct to use either. You can say if I was or if I were. For me, it sounds more more correct or more cultured or educated. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it sounds better to say were, if I were or if he were. But it's very common to hear both. Okay, a long-winded explanation, but it's an important thing because it can be confusing. Okay, any questions about that? Okay. So let's see. Peter, can you make the next conditional sentence?
Okay. If I don't catch this main sentence.
Okay, it's tricky.
If how could I start my sentence if my life in happen? What is that? I don't know.
Okay, so here, so in the previous sentences, we have had the same subject in both clauses, but Roxana changed it. So her subject in her main clause was no longer I. It was a lot of interesting things.
This is the subject.
That's the subject.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So so in our structure we have if plus the subject. So
if a lot of interesting things.
Excellent.
Happen. Oh no.
Happened.
Happened in your life.
In my life.
In my life, I would tell my friends my experience. This is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Okay, so if a lot of interesting things happened in my life, I would tell my friends about my experiences. Okay?
Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, Paolo.
You can write a book about your life.
Oh yeah, you could write a book about your life, right? Okay, good. So Paolo, the next one.
If I told my friends about my experiences, I'm sure they wouldn't believe me.
Good. Yeah, they wouldn't believe me. Excellent. If I told my friends about my experiences, they wouldn't believe me. Okay, and Matt, do you think you can make one more conditional sentence?
Okay, continue this sentence. Okay, they were believe me.
If they didn't believe me,
They repeat, please. They didn't.
If they didn't believe me.
If they didn't believe, this is past.
Sorry,
okay.
if they didn't believe me, sorry, I'm
Believe me. If they didn't believe me,
good.
I would talk my friend.
Wait, I would spank them. Okay, if they didn't believe me, I would. Sorry, what was it, Matt? I would talk with my friends. Was that it?
Sorry, spank. This is a.
Sorry, I was laughing because.
No, sorry.
No, spank is like if you can spank a child who is bad.
Okay, sorry.
When you hit them on their bottom, on their butt. Okay. All right. So if they didn't believe me, I would talk with my friends. Is that what you said?
Okay.
Yeah, I would talk with my friends from my journey or something. Okay. All right. So, good. Any questions about this activity?
No, it's tricky.
Okay. All right.
It's very
good.
interesting.
Yeah, it's tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's interesting. Okay. So, I want to practice the third conditional as well. And to do this, the first thing I need from you is I need you to think of some events that changed history. So I want you to tell me some events that changed history.
The Big Bang.
Okay, the Big Bang. Okay, good. Okay, great. So that's a great example of an event that changed history. So the Big Bang happened. What else? So this could be anything, right? From...
Can I try?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the Big Bang hadn't happened.
Wait. So that's what we're going to do, but I want to think of a lot of events first.
The technological revolution nowadays.
Okay, yeah.
Human discovered the fire, maybe.
There was a technological revolution. Yeah, man discovered fire.
Okay.
Good. Any others?
Mankind discovered or made the wheel.
Invented the wheel.
Invented the wheel. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we invented the wheel. Any others?
Invented the car or internet.
Yeah.
Or TV, telephone.
The internet, let's say. Another one. I want to add a few. So. What's that?
Fleming invented antibiotics.
What's that?
Fleming.
I can't. Fleming. Can you type it?
Fleming discovered antibiotics.
Antibiotics. Okay, yes. Okay, good. All right, so we have a good number of sentences here. Okay, so these are all real things that happened, right? They are real events from history. So now, using the third conditional, I want you to imagine how history would have been different if these things had never happened. Okay, so you're imagining how the past would have been different if these things had never happened. And to do that, we're using the third conditional. So let me remind you of the structure. So we have if plus subject plus past perfect.
We can't hear you, teacher.
We don't hear you, teacher.
Okay, I think it's when I'm typing, I can't.
Yes,
Whatever.
it's
Anyway.
general.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if plus subject plus past perfect, subject plus would plus have plus past participle. And a past participle is something like been or eaten or sung. Okay? So I'm reminding you of the structure. Okay. So, any questions?
It seems complicated.
Yeah, it seems complicated. Yeah. Honestly, it's easier, I think, to look at examples, right, than to look at this structure. The third conditional is a bit tricky. Okay, so how would the world have been different if the Big Bang hadn't happened? So, Paolo, do you want to answer this one?
If Big Bang hadn't happened at that time, we couldn't be here to speak.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
it's the same. It could be or couldn't have been here in this
Couldn't have
case.
been.
Well, I think in this case we can use both.
You can use
Could
both.
be.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So if the Big Bang hadn't happened at the time, we couldn't have been here to speak. Okay, so yes. And Paolo, you're absolutely right. We could also say we wouldn't be here right now. Okay, so there's a small difference, but just know that sometimes if you want to talk about a consequence that is continuing into the present, you can use this sort of alternate conditional structure like Paolo did. So the we wouldn't be here right now is not strictly third conditional, but it is correct. Okay, so tell me another way the world would be different if the Big Bang hadn't happened.
I think there is no world if the Big Bang hadn't happened.
Yeah. Okay, so if the Big hadn't happened, what? Ali. There
wouldn't be the world. Right?
Yeah, or the world wouldn't exist.
Yes, the world wouldn't exist.
Okay, and I put both options. Whoops. Okay, so, sorry. Okay, so the world wouldn't have existed, or the world wouldn't exist. You see this? The world wouldn't have existed, or the world wouldn't exist. Sorry, I made a mistake when I typed it the first time. Okay, great. Okay, so now I want you to imagine the world without a technological revolution. How would things be different?
Can I answer that?
Uh-huh.
If the technological revolution hadn't happened, we would be living in the Stone Age.
Okay. if the technological revolution hadn't happened, we would be living in the Stone Age. Good. Very good. Okay, and again, we're using this alternate structure because we're talking about something that continues to the present. So this is not a pure third conditional. Okay, so how would the world be different if man hadn't discovered fire?
Maybe if man hadn't discovered the fire, they haven't was able to continue their life.
Yeah, okay, so if man hadn't discovered fire, they wouldn't have been able, so yeah, this is a tricky tense, right? So it's negative, and then you have would plus have plus the past participle, right? Would plus have plus been. They wouldn't have been able to continue their lives. Very good. Does everyone see this structure?
Or maybe just survive.
Yeah, or to survive. Good. Follow good. We couldn't have defended ourselves from wild beasts. Okay, good. All right. Okay, we'll do maybe one more. Let's see. How would the world be different without the wheel? Oops, sorry. Without the wheel.
If the wheel hadn't been invented, we wouldn't have so many vehicles.
Yeah, we wouldn't have so many vehicles. Good. If the wheel hadn't been invented, we wouldn't have so many vehicles. Okay, great.
We wouldn't have traveled by car.
We wouldn't?
We wouldn't have traveled by car.
Excellent. Right, so if the wheel hadn't been invented, we wouldn't have traveled by car. Very good. And again, this one is a pure conditional, right? Because here we're talking about the past. Okay, so we are running out of time, and I want to let you ask any questions you might have before we end the class. So any questions, comments, concerns?
No.
It was
Okay.
a very nice class. Thank
Okay, I'm glad. All right, so thank you all very much for coming and for participating. I know that I challenged you a little bit, but you all did a very good job. And just keep practicing the conditionals, and I'm sure we'll all review them again. Okay, so have a great day, and I hope to see all of you again in class soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you. See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.